Welcome to another episode. A while back, Buildernz to Build posted something about a Milwaukee tape measure that he bought, and I promised him that I'd do a review at some stage. But first, I've got to put some cladding on this wall. Right, so the first thing we need to do is figure out what height we're going to. And we want to figure out what we can get our heights of. So if we look along here, we've got, this is our first full board. So we just want to check what our height is to the top there. Probably to this board. We've got 1165 to the bottom of it. And about the same. And we have that spaced out over 10 boards. Well, that's easy, so that's 116.5 mil each. Right, next up we want to get some measurements. So we want our boards to extend under the box corner. Probably longer than the existing boards because they don't really go, they barely even go past the scrober. Right, so I'll go 2, 3, 8, 5. Because this one's joining onto an existing board, so we want to put an angle on it. So I'm going to go about 2, 8. What I'll do is I'll check the top as well, just in case there's some variation. It's a little bit longer there, but 2.8 will still work. Let's cut some boards. For goodness sake. So, just before I started my apprenticeship, I did a whole bunch of research on tools I should have, and one website said Milwaukee tape measures are awesome. Got all these features, yeah. So I bought one. Durability wise, it did okay. I think I got about 8 months out of it. But right from the get-go, I had issues with it twisting. Like the standout was okay, but it twisted quite easily. Slightest breeze and it would twist. The hook on it wasn't great. This one is a little bit better. It's supposed to be able to survive a 24 meter drop, I think it is, which sounds great, but not a lot of carpenters work at that height anyway, so that's not an issue. The result is it's quite bulky, so for me, having a pouch to put it in, it's a bit of a hassle. I've taken the hook off it, still a struggle to get it in there. And actually my other tape measure, my Stanley Fat Max, I've taken the hook off that as well, but that fits in a lot easier. The one redeeming quality of this, for me, is this little hole in the bottom here, because you can just stop the tape quite easily with your finger, whereas I've not seen another tape measure with that. So I mean, that's a good feature, but unfortunately just the blade itself is just not that great. Slightest twist and it just rolls. The amount of frustration, especially on a site where you're working by yourself trying to measure long things, you're out in the open, bit of a breeze, slightest twist and it's gone. So yeah, avoid Milwaukee tape measures. However, in saying that, generally Milwaukee hand tools are great. I've had this knife for over 2 years, no problems with it. This right angle bit, had that for over 2 years, took off the handle. Chalk line as well, I've had this for a year and a half. A lot of people have actually commented on it, having worked with me, that it's got a nice fine line on it. It's lifetime warranty as well. I mean, I've got nothing against Milwaukee hand tools, but their tape measures are rubbish. Biff that one out. Alright, get you out of there. I'll show you the end result soon, eh? Slide it over yet. That box corner's not coming off again, is it? No. Yeah. Yeah, there's just nails in the way. There we go. So I'm patching up another window that got removed. So this is, I think, the old kitchen. The kitchen now is down that end. I think that's what it was. A bit too high. James showed me this trick yesterday. Instead of using a story rod, use your little combi screw, set that to the right height. And I mean, you risk it creeping out, but you can then check as you go, and because they're only breaded on, you can just tap them up or down. Just worked out nicely that it's 10 boards, so I just divide my total measurement by 10. And this side, so I measured over there, it's only 5mm difference to around the corner. So that's pretty good for an old house. So you'll find a lot of older houses, builders didn't care and then perhaps didn't have the tools to make it all the same height. Whereas nowadays you can use a laser, set it up on one corner and you can mark 3 corners of the house, and then you just transfer your laser around to the other side, mark the other side of the house. Well, I mean, for a rectangular house. If it's got all sorts of corners, it's a little bit more complex, but a lot easier doing that than, I don't know how they would have done it back then. I don't know, maybe someone can tell me in the comments. So you want the nail through the face to miss that board. Otherwise you get the annoying thing that we had over there, where your nail through here interferes with replacing board below it. And your boards are a lot more likely to split. So anyone who deals with timber knows that timber moves. It absorbs moisture and swells up, and it dries out and shrinks. And when it shrinks, if it's nailed on each side, it's going to potentially crack. Right, there we are, done. Right, busy couple of days, so we patched up, or James patched up that corner, and I've done most of the little boards around here. And that was a window there, and more patches around here. James did that brand new box corner all the way around, and I did this window yesterday, and James has put on new horns because it was a sill going right across there, and he's done the same around the other side as well. Good morning, welcome back to Prebbleton. I realise I haven't done a full episode here at Prebbleton for quite a while. We've been in and out, and I think I've mentioned it a few times, but never actually had a proper update. So, garage doors went in a few weeks ago. We finished the skirting in the garage. We were waiting on pine skirting to do that because, of course, there's a chance of that getting wet. None of the bathrooms need pine skirting because 2 of them are full tile and 1 is just tile skirting. Door hardware we've done, except for these. We were waiting on these for the wardrobe sliders. Floating floor went down a few weeks ago, and we started skirting that, but then a whole bunch of it's been pulled up again because the concrete foundation is so far out of level that it's got to be ground down in places and filled in other places. So the 2 pairs of sliders at the front door we can't do yet. Well, I can put the handles in them. The tracks need to be adjusted once the floor's leveled. We knew that was going to be an issue, so the base for the track is glued down and the track itself is just screwed down, so we can pull that up and pack it as need be. Yesterday James finished off the cedar out the back, so last full episode here was almost finishing the cedar. So yeah, we ran out in that episode and we ordered some more. We finished that, we mostly finished that, but then the plasterers were here, so where we had that last board we couldn't quite put it in, so I think he did that yesterday, and he did all the scribes around the windows as well. What door stops I did yesterday. The other day James put the vanities in. There was 1 door in the back bedroom that needed swapping around, so it was supplied the wrong way. I'm not sure whether that was that the plan was wrong or the supplier just got it wrong. We've got a deck to build out the back as well, but I mean honestly for us there's not that much work left, so we'll be done here in a few weeks, and most of that is subcontractors having to do their thing as well. Oh, one big thing we're waiting on is the hard as rock cladding. So it's been sitting there with the underlay for almost 2 months, I think. And that was due to start a few days ago, but we haven't heard anything from them. But yeah, once that's done, the cladding is completely finished. Let's crack on with this. I've done heaps of cavity sliders before, but I've never done them down flat. Well, these aren't cavity sliders. Cavity sliders are a bit harder because you can't get them out particularly easily. But with these wardrobes, lay them down flat, I put some cardboard or a blanket, works as well, just so you don't scratch up the paint. And then use a router to cut them out, so I don't even need my chisels. And just to make things easier, I've got my little blower going to blow the dust away so I can see what I'm doing, because the dust tends to just accumulate in the hole. It's way quicker. This is the Ecklectic one, which is a little bit gutless. I've got to do this in 4 goes. If you go too deep, it tends to snag and kick back, and actually the first time I did one of these on a cavity slider, we tried to use a router, it did kick and ended up scratching up the paint. That was no good, but you know, it's not the end of the world. Bit of filler and get the painters back. I think the painters need to come back anyway, so it's no biggie. But I will get the 40 volt one at some point. One thing I should point out with the router is you need to be aware of the way it spins, and just like a circular saw, you want to cut against the spin. If I'm cutting on that side, I want to be cutting towards me, so I always cut in a clockwise direction. If you go the other way, not only do you end up with a rougher cut, but it tends to catch and just run away from you. So something like this, I really don't want that happening. See if it fits. Oh yeah, perfect. Now what I like to do with these is clamp it down before I screw it. Use combi square to check setback. So the doors in this house are 60mm. Normally, I mean for these it functionally doesn't matter, but normally your hinge door latches will be either 60 or 70mm. So we've just matched them. And I always just pre-drill them because it's easier to put the screw in. And at first screw you don't do it up tight until the second screw's in. Alright, that's the last door. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers!